Good day and welcome to episode 1 of Drinking Beer with Don. This is also the first day of the Advent calendar. The Advent calendar put on by Cascadia, and it's a beer Advent calendar. So I'm really looking forward to trying this first beer. Today we have, from the White Tooth Brewing Company, they call it Sick Bird Northwest Pale Ale. So it's a Northwest Pale Ale. The White Tooth Brewing Company is out of Golden, BC. So first thing you can tell right away is that this year is not limited to just the island. The last year's Advent calendar was fabulous. There was so many good beer on the island. So you know what? It's just they've expanded it. That's great. This particular beer is just over 5% alcohol, and bitterness units IBUs are 36. I opened the can. The first thing I smelled was the hops. Citrusy hops, and it smells quite nice. Oh, hey, you can see on the can here, and you can see on the picture there, is that they have a skiing theme, which is also cool because I love to ski. The notes from the can and the website say speed, exposure, and total commitment. Reserved for those super rowdy runs, subject to no judging criteria and no numbered score. Well, my beer is going to have a score, but still. It says, salute the sickbed with our quenchable, citrusy, hop-packed Northwest Pale Ale. Well, they're bang on target with the label because I can smell the hops and it is citrusy. So let's give it a shot. Oh, one other thing. On the website for the White Tooth Brewing Company, they mentioned they do a combination of Belgian-style beer and West Coast beer. So that could be good. Just combining Belgium and BC. So anyway, let's see what we got. Okay. First thing is, it definitely got hops. But it's got flavorful hops. It's not smack yourself in the face hops. And I'll say, in fact, that I've been noticing more pale ales on the market in the last year. 2 years ago, it was the sours. Last year, it seemed to be the hazies. I'm going to go on a limb and say I think I'm going to see more of these pale ales in the case this year. But it's not bad. It's a solid pale ale in the sense that it tastes like it should. I can drink these. I can drink a couple of these at a bar. And I'm now trying to determine if it's going to be in the 8s, low 8s or high 7s. Because, you know, it's the first beer. It's hard to set the bar. You know what? I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to give this an score of 8.0. It's good. It's solid. It's well made. But it's not, I don't think it's any better than an 8. Right? So there we are. So ends the first beer in the calendar. Cheers. Okay, good day and welcome to day 2 of Drinking Beer with Don. So yeah, this is the 2nd of December, and we're going to be putting on the second beer from the Cascadia Beer Advent Calendar. Today's a pretty cool day because I'm actually going to have a guest reviewer join me because Rob, my buddy Rob, come on in Rob. Rob and I both have the calendar, so I thought it'd be cool if he joins me to sample this beer.
Hola amigos, how are you today?
Yeah, cool.
Don and I worked in Belgium together, right?
Yeah, we did.
And we've had a few Belgian beers in our day.
Yes,
Okay, over to you.
Okay, so a little bit about this beer we're going to have. It's from Port Alberni, and it's from, oh there's the can, but you'll see a picture in a sec. From Twin City Brewing. These actually make some great beer, and they make great pizza there too. This particular beer is called a Nocturne, and they label it as a Belgian-style quadruple. If anyone knows Belgian beers, that means it's strong, and it is. In fact, it's 10.5% alcohol by volume. So it's a rich, strong, dark beer. If you've had a Chimay Bleu, if you've had a Rochefort, for example, you'll know what a Belgian quadruple is like. So I'm hoping this could be it.
10.3.
10.3. Okay, so I was close. So you ready?
27 IBU.
So it's got some hops. All right. You ready?
Yeah, okay.
So you notice it doesn't have a lot of head. Rob foamed his up a bit more than mine.
I poured it in.
Let's try it.
Salut.
Cheers. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
This is as I hoped it would be.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm glad I gave it a good shot.
Yeah. It's rich, it's dark, it's a little sweet, just like you'd expect a Belgian ale.
I'm having it out of an Irish Kilkenny glass, but that's okay.
Oh, I have my label showing forward again, don't I? Don't! See, I don't have a Newcastle either. Don't! All right.
This is actually quite good.
That's very good.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the glass we'll be feeling pretty good too.
Yeah, the label or the can also says, as a bit of a side, it says this rich Belgian style quadruple is a soothing course of classic Belgian spice, dark brûlée sugars, and toasted malt. Well, you know what?
Okay.
I smelled the malt first when we first opened the can, and it has a bit of a sweetness to the smell. It's 80% of this beer is in the flavor. Smell is nice, but the flavor is, oh my goodness.
Did you tell them it's from Port Alberni?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So it's from the island.
So what do you think, Rob? I don't know if you
Well-
know how I score things, but 7 is okay, 8 is good, 9 is oh my goodness.
I think at this point it's probably an 8, and I think by the time I'm finished it'll be close to a 10.
Oh, we saw the difference because I was going to say this is a 9. Actually, I think this is in the 9s. It's that
I mean,
good.
you got to drink the whole thing to really make the decision.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I could come back after. Anyway, I think my score for this is going to be in the 9s, and because it's the first one, and I compare this against other ones I've had from last year that for example, I gave some a 9.5 and a 9.3. This isn't quite as rich as those. It's really good. It's nice and strong. It's smooth.
Yeah.
But it doesn't grab you by the chin and say, this is really good. So I'm going to give this a 9.0. There we are.
It's pretty damn good. You know, we've had a lot of good Belgian beer, right, in our day.
Yeah, we have.
And we've had some very powerful Belgian beers that, and usually it takes a while for them to mellow.
Yep.
To get it down so you can really drink it. But this is drinkable right now.
It is, just the way it is. Okay, well, thanks, Rob, for joining me.
Hey, my pleasure.
Maybe you can join me in another one.
Let's go to Belgium and have some real Belgian beer.
It sounds like a plan. All right, bud. Cheers.
Salut.
Salut.
No,
Yes, today we're going to have our third beer. It is December 3rd. And today we've got a beer from the Callister Brewing Company out of East Vancouver. It's called a Gin Blossom, which sounds pretty interesting. In fact, they called it a gin barrel farmhouse ale. So you're getting the theme that there's gin involved, which I think is cool. And in fact, the label says gin botanicals and subtle spice mix and mingle. Okay. Time and patience lend alchemy a hand to create an elixir greater than the sum of its parts. Okay, so far just words. Now they mentioned that Odd Society Oaken Gin barrels. So I guess there's a type of gin called Odd Society Oaken Gin, I'm going to assume. And so they've got barrels. Their barrels lend notes of juniper, lavender, and lemon zest, mellowing into softer tones of spice, citrus, fresh hay, and toasted oak. So I'm getting citrus ideas, oak, and obviously gin barrels. Well, that sounds like it could be pretty good. Let's try it. Here we are. It's a little cloudy, as you can see. Not much head. I poured it reasonably quickly, but it still smells. It smells wonderful, actually. Very, very much, very citrusy. Smells good. Okay, let's find out. I do immediately get the gin. I like gin. If you didn't like gin, this one might not be for you. But I like gin, and this is good. Actually, second sip was almost a little too strong in the gin. It's hard to say. Very citrusy. I don't get the oak per se, but I get some sort of, maybe they call it the hay flavor. I've never had a hay flavor before in a beer, but there is something unique about this besides the gin, which is interesting. It's got nice bite to it. It's refreshing. It dances on the tongue a little bit, which is, again, a bit of a surprise. It's interesting. I don't think I would drink more than one. It's one of those I'd want to try it, which lends it to be in the 7s, I think. I mean, I want to like it more. I do, because it is interesting. But it's just something about it that is just not quite right, but it is cool. I mean, I like it. And 6.8% alcohol. So it's a little bit of a stronger beer too. And the IBU, it's not marked what the IBU is. I don't get a lot of hops in this. It's actually relatively hopless. I'm comparing it to the pale ale I had earlier on the day 1, which I gave an 8. This is less than that. But I like it because it's unique. So, I'm going to 7.9. You know what? I recommend trying this, if you can find it, give it a try. Because it is unique. And I'm going to be looking for other beer from Callister, because as I say, I think they've got something interesting going on with the brewmaster there. Okay, I'm back. Still day 3. I'm going to do something I have not done before. I just had some little old Dutch twisties. This is I don't know if you can see it. It's a cute little snack. They're very plain, but they're a little salty. And I tried the beer again. Because I was thinking about that's how I said I scored it. If there's something unique or redeeming on it, it's got to be an 8. And it is. I mean, I'm having this again after I cleanse my palate, if you will. And it is really a pretty cool beer, actually. I got to give them that. And just because maybe it's not, I can't do another one, and I stuck with the fact that I would only have one of these. Not because it's strong, but because it's got such an out there flavor. It's not quaffable. It is not quaffable. But it's growing on me. And because it has this unique flavor, which is actually pretty cool, it's just not something you expect with a beer. I had to reevaluate. 8.3. So anyone that took a bet being a 7.9, no, it's now an 8.3. Cheers. Day 4 of drinking beer with Don. All right, before I even get into the beer, you'll notice I'm wearing something a little different. There's a reason for that, and it's because some of my buds there said, you know, Don, we don't know you're actually having a beer every day because sometimes you wear the same shirt for 2 days in a row. So you're probably doubling up the beer. Not true. So I'm going to wear a different shirt every day. And in fact, I mentioned that to my wife Caroline. She said, hey, you do have a different shirt every day. The Hawaiian shirts. So yes, I do. So maybe I'll just start wearing a different Hawaiian shirt every day. And this is the first one. Right, today's beer is from Souk. It's from the Souk Oceanside Brewery, and it's called Stuck in the Mud. It's a coffee porter, 6% alcohol. On the can, it doesn't have numbers, but it has more of a mild hoppiness because it's got an IBU on their scale about a quarter of the way in. So let's say, I'm going to guess 15 IBU, 20 maybe. I'm guessing. But they also said it's got a heavy malt, very roasted, which it makes sense. It's a porter. And a very dark color, which again, obvious, porter. So I just poured it and it foamed up quite well, as you can see here. Nice head to it. So I have a sniff and it definitely smells of coffee. So why don't I tell you what it says on the can. So it says roasters, brewers, juggernauts of their own accord, which I don't know what they're talking about here. But then they go on to talk about this place called the Stuck in the Mud Coffee House. So there must be in Souk a place called that. And it says they've been serving their back alley espresso since 7th of July 2007. 07. Well, that's an interesting bit of trivia. So the brewery, Souk Oceanside Brewery, says then they say, we've steeped their swallow blend dark roast in a robust porter to add even more depth and flavor to this iconic style. Stuck in the mud. 2 of our favorite things together in the same glass. So I'm assuming they're talking about the 2 of their favorite things are beer and coffee. Well, you know what? I gotta agree with that because those are 2 of my favorite things as well. So without getting any more wordy, here we are. Let's give it a shot. Like I said, I can definitely smell the coffee. And it's 6%, so it's not gonna kill you. Oh, it is like drinking a coffee beer. Absolutely. It's easy drinking. As far as porters go, this is not a difficult porter. It's actually quite enjoyable. It's quite easy, very smooth. Touch of bitterness. Actually, it might be the coffee because it's a little more bitter than I thought it would be, but it's a porter, so it's gonna have some chew to it, and it's definitely a wee bit chewy. As somebody with an accent might say. Some of my Scottish friends, it's chewy. Yep, I like it. It's a solid porter, so it's definitely doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, I use the word solid, so it's gonna be in the 8s. I like it. I can drink 2 of these without question. I'm gonna digress here, but I was at the Rod and Gun earlier today, and I had a couple of Mount Arrowsmith Blondes. Great brewery out of Parksville. What makes the Mount Arrowsmith Blonde easy is that it's easy. It's a nice beer. It's not complicated, but it's got flavor. I compare this with that. It's nice beer, not complicated, but it's definitely got coffee flavor. I'm thinking now how I upgraded my last beer, which was that Gin Blossom, to 8.3 because it had something really cool going for it. This is a good beer. But it's not as cool. It's a good porter, solid. 8.2. That's what I'm going to score this. 8.2. I like it. I can definitely recommend it. Go look for the Stuck in the Mud because if you like your coffee in a beer, this is it. It's a good solid beer, 8.2. You guys have a great one. Cheers. Okay, let's wrap up the first 4 days. And this is going to wrap up this video of episode 1 of Drinking Beer with Don. And that's me. If it wasn't obvious, I'm Don. I just reviewed the scores of the 4 beer we've had. Okay, I've had. And it's been a good week. They range from 8.0 to 9.0. That's solid. Nothing in the 7s, nothing in the 6s. So we're off to a good start. Thank you, Cascadia. My favorite was the Nocturne from Port Alberni, from the Twin Cities Brewery, and that was that very dark, rich Belgian quadruple. Now I am partial to the Belgian beer, so maybe that situates the estimate. But every beer, the first 4 days has been very, very solid, very good. Even the one I just had, I only gave it an 8.2. Really good beer. I'm still drinking it. So we shall see what next week brings. I did peek a little bit ahead, and I noticed that one of the next ones is a sour. You know how I like sours. So we'll see how that comes out. I'm going to try to be objective about it, but we'll see. So, hope you enjoyed episode 1 of Drinking Beer with Don. And stay tuned. In 4 days or so, it will be episode 2 for the next 4 beer. Cheers.